Okay, so I pretty much got this done, the log splitter, and I think I'm going to try and explain a little bit about how it functions. So this is the control knob. To push it down like that is to close it, close the RAM, and to push it forward like that is to make the ram move forward and chop wood. So it's got a two-position handle, forward, backwards, chop, reverse. This is the cylinder head. It's a 4-inch, called a 24 stroke because the head goes out 24 inches maximum and then returns. This is the wedge I made. I don't know if it'll work or not. I have to buy one, but they're a couple $100. So I cut and welded this one together to split the wood. It's pretty soft wood, so I'm thinking it'll work. So the fluid in the system, being that it's a hydraulic system, works like this. Let me get my light. So the fluids, this is a 5-gallon hydraulic tank. The hydraulic fluid sits in here. It's in a separate tank because hydraulic fluid gets hot as you operate this machine, and it keeps it cool, and it's a reservoir. So the hydraulic fluid flows out, low pressure, comes out like this, comes around underneath this plate, and comes in here to the hydraulic pump, which is being driven constantly. Whenever the engine is running, the pump is pushing fluid and is connected to the shaft that comes out of the engine at this point, and it's connected to the shaft that comes out of the pump at this point with what's called a Lovejoy connection. And I would imagine it's probably called a Lovejoy connection because it's intimately connected. And so, okay, so then the fluid comes out and it comes around like this, and it comes into the control valve. If nothing's being done, the fluid just bypasses the control valve. It comes back out, low pressure still, and runs all the way down through this filter to catch any impurities, and down and into, let's see if I can get this, down underneath here and into this valve that goes, it's the return connection that goes back into the reservoir tank. Behind here, you'll see that this is my empty, the fluid, change the fluid, open this valve, fluid runs out into, I arranged this so that it comes out, open this valve, it comes out, connects to a hose, comes out and runs down into a bucket on the ground so I can change my oil without a mess. I have to do the same thing over here on the engine. Here, the engine has a plug that for draining the engine. I have to put the same thing, put a connector, a shut-off valve, and then come out through the side and do the same thing, but I'll do that up north. So I've got this ram, it's a 200-pound ram, bolted down here and bolted down here. So it's stabilized, and I can, like when I move to Wisconsin, I can take off the ram, put it in the truck, and Jake can help me lift this up and this wagon up into my truck. It'll be a lot lighter. So moving on with the fluid. So we talked about how the fluid goes from here down through the pump, back through the pump, up through the control valve, back down through the return line, through the filter, and back into the tank. Now once you start pushing, one way or the other, like let's say you want to cut, and so you push forward and you push that forward. Now you're letting fluid, now this is high pressure, and it's coming through and it's going down, around, to the back side of the pump here, and it's pushing the piston forward. So it's filling that ram with fluid. And then when you're ready to retreat that, because you're done splitting the wood, you push this lever back this way down, and this ram closes, bringing the fluid to here and back down around through here and into the control valve where it is eventually going back through the recycle bypass line. So there's a breather tank on this, so it has to breathe air, suck air. So if that ever clogs up, you won't be able to run your machine. So that's a maintenance thing to keep that clean, keep the filter clean. So this is the called Predator engine. It's a 212 cycle engine. It's actually a Honda clone engine that is produced or sold by Harbor Freight, and it actually is only $124. It's an amazing price for this engine. So okay, so let me get my light here. So so we have the pull cord here. So we turn the switch to the on position, click to the on position, and there's a choke here, choke there, choke on, choke off, and this is your throttle, throttle on, throttle off, and then this is your pull cord for starting. Takes regular gasoline. Ethanol blend is okay. No 2-cycle. You check your oil down here. There's a check oil. There's also one back here. Check your oil either. It's easier to check this one up here. So that pretty much covers that. I got it on a trailer. I'm gonna get some kind of stand, I think, to hold this thing up. And the tires, and so with the ATV, it's pretty easy to pull around. Got everything secured, got everything bolted down here. So we're ready to go. We'll give it a shot. More later.